In the Bible, Hannah's story is one of deep faith and miraculous transformation. A woman who struggled with infertility. Her faith and devotion to God led to a miraculous blessing. But there's so much more to her story. Hannah's life is not just about a miracle child. It's about trusting God in the midst of pain, showing that even when life seems unfair, God's plan is always greater. Let's dive into the remarkable life of Hannah, a woman whose prayers shaped the future of Israel. Hannah's story begins in the Bible in 1 Samuel. She was born in Ramah, in the region of Ephraim, Israel, and was the wife of Elkanah, a man who had 2 wives, Hannah and Peninnah. While Peninnah had children, Hannah remained barren, which caused her immense distress and sorrow. Every year, Elkanah would take his family to the temple in Shiloh to worship, but for Hannah, these trips were painful, as Peninnah would provoke her about her inability to have children. In Samuel 1:6-7, it says, "Because the Lord had closed Hannah's womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her." This was a year after year struggle for Hannah, and the emotional toll was devastating. But instead of giving up, Hannah chose to pray. One day, in the temple at Shiloh, she poured her heart out to God, vowing that if He gave her a son, she would dedicate him to the Lord for his entire life. She prayed silently, her lips moving, but no words coming out. The high priest Eli thought she was drunk, but when she explained that she was praying out of deep anguish, he blessed her, saying, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." And God heard her prayer. That in 1 Samuel 1:20 it says, "So in the course of time, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, 'Because I asked the Lord for him.'" This was a miracle, and in keeping with her vow, once Samuel was old enough, Hannah took him to the temple in Shiloh to be raised by Eli, dedicating him to God's service. Despite the heartbreak of leaving her firstborn at the temple, she remains deeply involved in his life. Each year, she handcrafts a new robe for Samuel, a tender act of love that reflects her unwavering connection to him, even as he serves under Eli. This small yet poignant detail in 1 Samuel 2:19 shows her continued faith and motherly devotion despite the sacrifice. After giving her son to the Lord, Hannah offered a prayer of thanksgiving, often called the Song of Hannah. In this prayer, she praises God for His greatness and justice, declaring that He raises the poor from the dust and guards the feet of His faithful servants. This prayer highlights her unwavering faith and recognition of God's power. God blessed Hannah beyond Samuel. 1 Samuel 2:21 says, "And the Lord was gracious to Hannah. She gave birth to 3 sons and 2 daughters." This shows how God rewards faithfulness, proving that He hears the prayers of His people. Samuel, the son she dedicated to the Lord, would grow to become one of Israel's greatest prophets. He played a key role in leading Israel, anointing the first 2 kings of Israel, Saul and David. Samuel's role in Israel's history was crucial, and his relationship with God, formed through the prayers of Israel, helped shape the future of Israel. Hannah's life teaches us about faith, perseverance, and sacrifice. Despite years of sorrow, she never gave up on God. Her unwavering belief led to the birth of Samuel, who became a key figure in Israel's history. Her story is a reminder that no matter what we face, God is listening to our prayers, and in His perfect time, He answers. Hannah's faith changed the course of history. Her son, Samuel, was the key to a new chapter for Israel. Her story shows us that God's plans are always greater than our own.